Vážený pane prezidente Zelenský,
Esteemed Mr. President Zelensky and Mr. Head of the Parliament of Ukraine, Mr. Stefanchuk, and presidents, prime ministers, the heads of the senates, your excellencies, the representatives of Crimean Tatars, ladies and gentlemen, the participants of the 4th Summit of International Crimea Platform. Today's summit has started when we opened the memorial dedicated to the Crimean Tatars. And I think that it's important to understand that the opening of this monument was not just a reminder or just an attempt to attract attention to the brutality of the deportation of Crimean Tatars, to their huge sufferings. But this opening of this memorial is simultaneously a reference, or maybe the prompt, how we should treat the today's situation. Today, it is 2024. This is the 80th anniversary since the deportation of Crimean Tatars because of and 10 years since the beginning of the illegal aggression. So the question is raised, what have we achieved during these 10 years? How we behaved, how we helped Ukraine during these years? In 2021, in 7 years after the beginning of the invasion, we met under the initiative of President Zelensky at the first summit of Crimea Platform, and I had the honor to take part in that. I was speaking that we understand the situation of Ukraine very well, because we have had through this Munich agreement when they decided about us without us. We went under the occupation of the troops of the Warsaw Treaty with the Russian army in 1968. And it leads us to the conclusion that Czech Republic will never acknowledge the annexation of Crimea and will never acknowledge any other attempts to take Ukrainian territory from any country. You can rely upon us that we will support you. And I would like to thank all of you about the initiative on ammunition, which was initiated by Czech Republic, all of the participants who took part in this initiative. And also I'd like to drive your attention to one more point. In spite of the fact that the first Crimea platform took place in August 2021, and in spite of the fact that we all spoke to Russia, so it deoccupied Crimea and brought it back, something totally different took place. The invasion of 2022 took place. In approximately 4 or 5 months, after we all had a meeting at the first summit of the first Crimea platform. So I'm sure that it took place because our support of Ukraine was insufficient. And if our support is not sufficient in the future, then Russia will not stop. And it is also about today. It's also about how it was about 2022. So our obligation, as I'm sure, is the maximum support of Ukraine, and we need to provide Ukraine with everything it needs, because it's not only in the interests of Ukraine, and not only for the sake of protection of the Ukrainian identity and authenticity, but it is also in the interests of all of the countries which have freedom, independence, and authenticity as its priority. And also we need to spend some efforts, and from the perspective of our countries we need to be active. Our countries did not go through the war, so that is why our countries today are trying to understand these processes And the ones who are absent here, they still do not understand the essence of the historical processes. So I'd like to appeal to them, I'd like to speak to them, please join this table and support the decisions which will later lead to real and fair peace. Real peace will take place only when, during the negotiations process, we'll have Ukraine, and if it agrees with all of the decisions of the debates about peace. We should remember about that. To conclude, I would like to state that Crimea is Ukraine. And secondly, glory to Ukraine.